Well, we're back to our regularly scheduled program. Um, I was gonna do a romance video this week. I had fatigue. I couldn't do it. I had a script that I mostly liked, but what ends up happening is when I get close to finishing it, there's always that one part of those few pieces that I look over and I'm not entirely content with. So it should come out this week. No, Dio, the reason the title is that way is in response to this video I keep putting off doing because I don't like the way the script is. Yeah, I forgot to talk about the second episode last week. Third one came out yesterday. I'd say it's probably the best one so far out of the three. Uh, the guy who wrote, I think it's the guy who wrote it. I don't know entirely. I didn't look at his name sheet, but apparently the fifth one is supposed to have some major, massive event in it. So that's just something I'll keep in mind as we get further. We're halfway through. I was gonna say, um, Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't see it. I hadn't been watching any reviews. Man, who is this? I got this one person that comments on my stuff sometimes that apparently is right wing. I can't wait to make a left wing video, and they come on there like, you're such a piece of. I'm not going to watch you ever again." That's always the character arc that happens with those people, where they'll like watch one video where I'm like critical of Biden or Harris or somebody, and then after that they're like, "Yeah," and then they watch a video where you talk trash about some Republican that's not Murkowski or Collins, and then they're like, "Oh my God, how could you do this?" I don't know what to really say about the episode without trying to spoil it. I did like that we got to see a villain come back. Everybody's on the bullseye. And everybody online is an expert. Like there are people who've never met me, but are experts on like how many chicks I dated or spoke to or tried to date or when what I said. That's why I said that I think people online are trying to be the new Dr. Giroux, where they have the little machine following you around to see your cameras to record what you're doing or see what you're doing without actually being there. And that's completely what ends up happening with these people. I already said they create fan fiction. And really, with this stuff, it makes me kind of just not want to speak about a lot of this stuff. Um, so, for example, when we had the user from 2 weeks ago say that I don't take responsibility, I rarely take accountability or whatever for things, and then cite the Discord situation. It it's like what about that was I supposed to be accountable for? Am I supposed to feel responsible for someone thinking that asking them how they're doing or what their interests are is flirting because the person who sends you the message happens to be the opposite sex? I don't really understand what. And sure enough, when they came on my stream, didn't explain it. How in that particular situation I was supposed to be made to be accountable or responsible. Never happened. It sucks when people like take the time to, I guess, give examples. They still don't actually explain their examples. Like if I said, Dio never, just let me think of something. He never is responsible for the stuff he does. Like that time he went to the automobile club. Okay, what about the automobile club? Is he supposed to be responsible for? Like, give us cite what in these particular scenarios he was supposed to do differently or feel bad about or whatever. How do you give an example and still not actually cite what from the example you're trying to infer? So I said that romance dialogue is so terrible because most of the opposition doesn't even do like a decent job at all of uh, responding to something you say. And if they do respond, it's usually like talking about the way you look, which doesn't address your commentary, or like vague, nebulous terms. Like I gave the screenshot in the what was the video called? The I've been criticized for everything video where the guy said you probably approach in a weird way. Like, what does that even mean? And how would you know that person that's never met me? But again, that's why I said people create fan fiction. They need to hire them in Hollywood. And then there was the part where he said that I'm the dedicated part of my stream to. Yeah, the reason I do that is because I used to respond to people in comments, and what they do is they'll take, like, let's say somebody writes 2 paragraphs, right? And I respond to everything they say in those 2 paragraphs, and my response ends up being like 3 or 4. They'll say, "Oh, I only read the first sentence or the first paragraph, and then I decided to not. I'm still going to respond while also telling you I didn't read the entirety of yours." So I just said that's a waste of my time because if someone is going to try to write something to me, hoping that I read all of what they say, but then admit that they're not going to read all of what I say, that is so unfair and ridiculous and not worthy of my time or investment. So that's why things are usually addressed on a video, because whether the person responds or not, I couldn't care less, and it's directed and magnified for more people to see it. And you're used as an example of ridiculous behavior on this website. I was just arguing with someone who couldn't back up his reasoning with actual examples. He got clowned on. It's like, we got to create fan fiction, support our narratives. Here comes the recurring villain squads. Told you, most of these people, if they go away for, like, when they write one nasty comment and they disappear, I just assume they're actually going to honor what they said and not show up again. And they, like, almost every time they come back. I'm telling you, most people, when they don't like somebody's content, they just don't watch them. Like, there's a guy that does movie reviews, and he has, I think, 70, 80,000 subs. I think he's terrible. And he pops up in my recommended. Sometimes I always click do not recommend channel because I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him, his videos, his dog. just stay away. Isn't this the second Easter where you can't go anywhere? He said you need to turn off your brain and mouth. You're not critic. Oh yeah, that. Yeah, turn off your brain to enjoy something. Uh, Well, Megumi, they just love making things to, use against you. Like if somebody makes a video, some guy, right? And he says, I'm really disappointed that women have treated me the way that they have. And then he gives examples of like little different stuff with chicks. A normal person who doesn't agree with him would cite what he's saying and then try to use that for their reasoning of why they don't agree. But what they'll do is they'll say, you're probably ugly. You probably approached women that were too hot for you. Go for average chicks with the brain. That's what one of them wrote to me. I was like, what do you, so, because that's a really sexist thing to say, that apparently someone's physical attractiveness always equals how stupid they are. So like the more hot I think somebody is, the dumber they are. And remember, you would never, let me tell you something. I could have a degree from one of these Ivy League schools. I could have a mansion, all that different stuff. And you would never see a man or a woman on this website say, I'm out of someone's league because of how hot I am. It would never happen. You would never see me be cited as being out of someone's league, no matter what I owned. Yeah, it's crazy, it's unfair, and then it's even more insane that people don't understand why somebody wouldn't want to participate in such an unfair process. Like I said, when we do that video on all the different options that chicks have, I have screenshots of them admitting, oh yeah, you're one of 20 guys I'm talking to or something. Like I said, the ones that have boyfriends don't even act like it. Like that chick that was on Instagram asked me for a picture of myself. Like who imagine if it came out that I had a wife or a mistress, whatever term you want to use, and I'm talking to some random broad on the computer every day, and I ask her for a picture of herself. I know, right? Very weird and strange. They need to show up in Doctor Strange too. They need to have cameos. So I said this chick stuff will drive you crazy, because even the ones that don't have a bunch of guys they're talking to that actually are with somebody, they still do little like weird, like I'm telling you, until both of them said I have a boyfriend, I had no way of knowing. Like you would not, going off of what they were writing and how frequently they were writing stuff, think they were with someone. Like I would hate to imagine that I had a wife or a female partner or whatever, and then I'm talking to some broad on the computer every day for hours for like almost a whole week until I mention that I'm with someone, and then that woman stops responding because it's like, what the hell? Now, that was a big hoax. Hey, standards for men, no standards for chicks. They can be whatever they want. They can act whatever way they want. They can do whatever they want. And that's why I don't believe in romance. It's all a bunch of BS. When you tell somebody that they have to do all this stuff to maybe get a date, and you act like that's normal, that's the scariest thing about it all. Like literally, we could go through every generation of my family, my dad, my grandpa, um, my great uncle, so my grandma's brother. None of them had muscles. Like I don't know where these weird extraneous steps started becoming something that people believed in. Yeah, the ones that have boyfriends don't act like they do. 5 days straight, this with me for hours. Like I could go through. I have more messages with her in 5 days than I have with my best friend I've known for 12 years. how long has it been? That was 2005, so 17 years, excuse me, or 16, whatever. But my point is, even me and him, for as close as we are, don't sit up all typing stuff to each other. That's not what this broad did. And it's like that broad is with someone that she lives with. That is crazy. I don't get it. We are all human. You shouldn't have to do a lot of stuff just to gain validation from another human. Well, like I said, people have a weird lack of care or concern for men. Like they don't really believe that men matter as much as chicks. Like not even just like a 60-40% thing where the man matters a little bit less. It's almost done to where just for the sake of maybe getting a woman to go on a date with you, which remember, if she goes on a date, she can still say no later on. So you're doing all this for maybe 1 or 2 hours with this person. You're expected to own a bunch of money, to have some ridiculous physique, as these people call it. And then even if you do these things and it doesn't, translate into a woman liking you, these people are still going to crap on you anyway. You probably approached in a weird way. You probably don't own anything, as if all these chicks are rich and very normal. They'll always sell the guy short to make sure the chick looks tall. They'll always do whatever it takes to make the broads being as stormtrooper like in their decision making seem normal. All that isn't normal. All those so-called convenience gets in the way between people, the phone, money, politics, religion, cars. Megumi says it really is sad and very disturbing just the way how things are and situated against men. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce your name. You're gonna have to type it out, the one that starts with the O. But yeah, they're gods among men. I mean, that's the funny thing. They act like stormtroopers. Like Megumi, the reason it's weird it's not supposed to be normal to get rejected by 60, 70, 80, 90 chicks across the computer in person as well is because what are you told? Oh, not all women are the same. They don't all like the same thing. But then they do the same thing to you that they do to loads of other men, which is why these different romance groups exist. Not all women are the same. They're very different. That's why all these men are online talking about getting rejected. It makes a lot of sense for people who are supposedly different to do the exact same thing to a whole bunch of men. I told you that my favorite thing is when people assume you've never been in a relationship before, you've never seen one before, and they talk to you like you're a little kid. Like, I told you that I'm so sick of mentioning her, but you know what I'm talking about. She tried to fill my head up. Oh, eventually you'll notice a different caliber of chick trying to talk to you. And I laughed because, like I said, women don't hardly approach men they find attractive at all. Like there are videos of them on YouTube admitting they don't approach men they think are attractive. But supposedly I'm going to be so amazingly attractive to all these different broads in a year or two, as she said. And a year or two has already passed. No difference. It ain't cool to start a family at the moment. Well, no one said at the moment. Oh, they love ignoring those facts because remember, their mission is we can't criticize the woman ever. Why do you think that guy came on my stream talking about women don't owe us anything, as if I ever made a video saying women owe me this? Like, no, but the flip side of that coin is you don't owe them spending years doing stuff to impress them either. That's the part they don't like to acknowledge. You owe the chick something, which is why you have to do all this extraneous stuff, but she owes you nothing. That makes a lot of sense. I'm reading Megumi's comment again. It really is sad and very disturbing, just the way how things are and situated against men. And I also should have mentioned that if you ever get famous or like have just some kind of what's a good way of saying it? So I was talking about this guy last week and how he made a video about how he was whatever age and never had a girlfriend. And then he meets this woman, and then so this other commentator who's in his 40s did a video where he was talking about how he would never want to have a woman on his videos with him because a lot of these chicks go for these men that are more famous than them to piggy bank off of the fame that the man has, and he doesn't want to boost one of them up as he called it. And literally right after this guy gets with this woman, this other person that made the video about being never having a girlfriend before, she's in like every other video. Like he went from just a guy sitting in front of a camera talking by himself to now having this raw, like it's like Batman and Robin. So, and then one person in the comments said, "You really think that we're not supposed to notice that every video after he meets this woman that she's now appearing in?" No, you'll never see me do that. Even if I got with someone, I would still talk about how it took too long. You shouldn't have to speak to so damn many of them. I've actually had people who cast doubts that it was that many, and it's sad because if I go in my Reddit inbox, I can find pages of me saying hello to this person, and then they either stop responding or they say they're not interested, and just I'm talking about. It's sad how there's so much proof to go along with the majority of these encounters. Now, Megumi, become famous, and then random chicks that nobody knows should be allowed to go on dates with you and become celebrities as well. They can leech off of your name. That sounds like a great deal for you. You work to become more notable in society or just online, whatever presence, and then random chicks will now find you attractive, and they're definitely not trying to use you for anything. Like, who believes that? But again, like I said, people, for whatever reason, turn romance into a fairy tale. Like, I've seen people when they were making fun of someone for never dating or whatever, they go, "It's sad you don't have a woman to love you." I'm like, Mike, I just go off of what's been told to me. My father dated multiple chicks that neither he nor they said they were in love with. So they didn't say they were in love with him. He didn't say he was in love with them. They just did something to have fun. And these people really act like when you finally get with this woman, oh my God, she's going to be in love with you and like you for who you are, and you get to jump in bed every day. It's just stupid. One of my friend's buddies gave his whole stimulus check to a female streamer that doesn't even, oh my God. That sounds like something a man would do. I told the story a 1,000 times of the guy that I knew in real life dates this broad I've known for years who got herself made homeless for talking trash to her, what do you call it, her landlord. And then he was paying for her storage unit while she was cheating on him and cursing him out over the phone. And now they have a kid they can't afford. What a happy ending that was, huh? That was a real thrilling conclusion. It's so stupid to the point of it is getting old. See that, but that's my point. That it's the same thing every year, where you would go out and try to get somebody to talk to a whole bunch of different ones. They give you the same result, and then people online either do one of two things: they gas you up to believe that it's going to magically change one day because reasons, or they start talking trash about you. So you're left with chicks that don't want to do anything other than waste your time, and two groups of people that are either antagonistic to you or delusional. So you're looking at that, you're saying there's nothing good that comes out. That's why I call it the romance curse. Got around to watching your video and thumbed it. Very good points. Yeah, I would left a comment, but it's gonna vanish after a week because that's what he likes to do. He likes to reboot his channel. Let me see. That can be true. Music Fiend says, I'm just waiting for the political streams. Well, you have a litany of political videos you can watch anytime you want. How about that? I do a political stream on Monday, and then Music Fiend doesn't even appear. He's like, oh, here's this thing I wanted that I didn't show up for. And then he doesn't even leave a comment to let you know that he saw it. That's the Music Fiend way. That's the Music Fiend doctrine, is to demand something, then not appear when it's ongoing, and then to not even say if he saw it or not. As long as we live in this society, there really won't be any romance, just more money and technology. I mean, people will still get with chicks. They just will, get screwed over. Just keep on getting screwed over. Like I said, if you actually factor in how, like, just all the different ways a relationship can go wrong, actually getting one of them to agree to be in a relationship is literally like the equivalent of opening a Pandora's box. Nobody wants to be passionate about anything anymore. Yeah. Remember when relationships were about who you like and who you want to spend time with? Now it's a strategic simulation. Own this, be this famous, go to this website, DM this number of chicks, take this picture here. No, they really make it sound like a video game. You have to have strategies and statistics, and like, is this one's power level too high? Like, it's just stupid. They really kill me with that. Because remember, they're the ones who are telling you that you don't have confidence, but then they're trying to get you to not believe in yourself when you speak to certain chicks. Hello, fellow straight man. Let me tell you about how I find you to be less attractive than a woman I'm supposed to be attracted to while not commenting on your appearance. You will never, like I said this before, my best friend and other men that I've spoken to, you never will see me tell them that a woman is out of their league. And if I were to say something like that, it would be entirely based around things I can actually prove, like tangible stuff that's not. I think this person is prettier than you. You would have, let's say, the woman be more famous, own a bunch of money, something I can actually cite, something that is tangible, not this person is more attractive to me than you. Because again, it's not my job to, attempt to dissuade this person from doing something that really you don't really lose anything by asking someone on a date that's more famous than you. Like if I go on some chick's Twitter and she's been in movies and I say, hey, let's go on a date. What, am I going to get put in jail? I've seen chicks put in more work for the camera, but lazy when it comes to the real thing. It's crazy. It isn't exactly an easy road all the way being in one. Problems can occur. But see, again, people don't like to mention that type of stuff because they want to sell this narrative to men that they believe have never been in one, that it's all smooth sailing and you're going to drive off into the sunset with this perfect woman. And it's just, I hate that so much. It's just this big fantasy. Because we already went over, even the ones that seem like they actually want to speak to or do something with you, a lot of times they even turn out to be full of crap. Look at the broad from the messages. I think you're too good for me. And then you still end up getting rejected by a person who says that. And you're supposed to believe that Magic Broad will show up and do the reverse of that. You see what he's saying? Will always lead men astray. Well, that's why I don't listen to them. Uh, that's that force. Oh no! Oh come on! I want to talk about pills. Bad enough they try to lump me in with these teams. It's funny because what I said in that video, it just went over the commentators' heads. Like I did take advice they told me to do, but it still didn't work. Yeah, that's what usually what ends up happening is you'll go looking on like articles like how to get a girlfriend or whatever, and then you do that stuff, and then it doesn't work out, and then you say, "Well, to hell with this," and then just do whatever you want after that. And like think of how crazy it is to assume that everybody who gets rejected, no one across all the men that have ever been rejected does something similar to what you did. Like everybody gets rejected does the same thing. They message the woman too much or some other crap that they write up. Just like how the bright the Wrigley girl made $1 million in 6 hours or something on only skanks. I really am not surprised at this point. Well, we already talked about chicks can make a bunch of money just because of how they look. I even said that in the other stream last week that a bunch of these actresses, the reason you don't see them in that much stuff after they, get to be 40 or 50 is because acting is half about talent and then the other half is about how good you look. And the problem with only basing how talented you are for your appearance is that there are always going to be chicks that a large sum of people think are attractive. So that being like a central quality of yours, it lessens in its impact. I feel like when you have a ton of hobbies and you focus on yourself and don't worry about pursuing women, you're winning. I mean, hey, I'm not the one who went bankrupt trying to pay for some storage unit for a year for a broad that cheated on me and cursed me out over the phone as I did that favor for. So I don't feel like I'm losing in that regard. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of times with these chicks I've seen in real life, I can name things they have done to the men they get with that are like negative and objectively bad. And people don't want to mention it because God forbid we criticize women ever. So they just let them, keep doing that stuff. You see, yeah, it really is a shame. Oh, that's why a lot of men keep lying just to keep the woman happy to see. They are more likely to give up the V. It's crazy these dudes really call themselves fan paying these women and getting no play. Well, that's why I said this before. You can get attractive, naked, or scantily clad chicks on the computer for free. Like there's no broad that is so attractive that her pictures on this website just trump all of the ones of other chicks that have been posted online. It just doesn't happen. Like, what would I look like? All these naked chicks in the computer for free. Let me go pay this one particular broad to see her pictures while she pretends that I mean something to her along with the other 900 men that are on that site trying to talk to her. You would never see me do that. Can't take no accountability. I'm just saying, I really think that's fruitless. Like people do, I don't get in the way of them doing that stuff. I just don't see the point to it. Because, like I said, every time they try to pretend there's something essential that chicks have, you can get it for a price. Like if you want, if they always say that men just want to get screwed, you can go really to any state, but if you want to do it legally to Las Vegas, Nevada, pay a price, and then you have to talk to some broad for 2 weeks or a month or whatever who does this back and forth. There are some that even will go on a date, from what I've heard and seen in like they don't do it as often, but I've seen some who will just pay to meet with you and go somewhere. Hell, even with the like family thing, you can pay fertilization, which that costs a whole bunch of money. But you know what I'm saying? They're like when you really break it down, you can pretty much cut out having to do something like organically with a woman if you have enough money for it. Yeah, the only thing I really get paying for is getting screwed. Because even though I think it's stupid to just like that, they keep trying to say that's all men want. You know, I don't blame somebody that wants to do. Like, why is it a bad thing that somebody wants to get screwed? Like, you know how many millions of people have screwed, and they're like, if you're a man and you're attracted to a woman because of this, you should feel ashamed of yourself. Like, oh, get out of here. Remember that guy who was in jail and his mugshot was like on was not trending. It was online, and women were like, "Oh my God, he looks so good." He saw him. They weren't doing that because they thought his personality was good. They wanted to bang him. But they're going to sit here and try to preach to me how horrible you should feel for wanting to do this with this woman. What a sick thing. You remember that, James, right? It was like 5 or 6 years ago. No, it was like 6 or 7. I remember it was like 2014, 15, one of those two. Let's see. I know the girls on there are very aware of that fact and exploited, hence them making a bunch of cash on OnlyFans. I'm just so tired of people and their stupid moral high ground stuff. I can't believe you made a video on why you believe chicks that you can pay to do things with are better than girlfriends. Like, oh well. Maybe if it wasn't so goddamn hard for somebody to get one of them to go on a date, we wouldn't be writing that or saying that. Maybe if you guys didn't make normal male wants of such a villainous thing, you know, people would actually want to talk to chicks that aren't, pay to play. Like, I never thought I'd see the day where sending a message to somebody where you say hello is a sexual thing. That's crazy. But that's Piscord, so that's what they do. He sent me a private message. What did he say? What are my interests? Dude, imagine if I came on here and did a video about how like a Me Too type video where I talk about how I feel what's a good way of saying it, soiled by someone asking me what my interests are. This entire website would be making fun of me. They'd be like, what's wrong with you? That's why you have no friends. They would be doing that in 10 seconds. But when it's done to me, you know, it makes sense. While I don't condone it, the chicks are just reaping the reward. Yeah, I don't really care if they do that stuff because I'm not paying for it, and you know it's other people's money. It doesn't have any effect on me. I don't know why people like bringing that stuff up. Like I don't. When I mention like having a bunch of guys talk to a chick, that's only to cite how there are so many options that a broad has that for someone to tell you that you're going to overcome the odds of impressing her over these 10, 20, to possibly even higher number of guys, it's ridiculous. But as far as, this person is making money on this, like, I don't care. I'll never complain about that. Like, you're not going to see me get upset over people paying some chick for something stupid. It's if I made a video for every time a man did something dumb with the broad, I'd be making videos on chicks for 40 or 50 years, if not longer. Like it's not necessary for me to, you know, sit back and go, oh my God, what a terrible thing. I don't care. It's just let them be stupid. Like I said, they're wasting their money. It's not me. So I have no dog in the fight. Gumi says, imagine. Let me sing that John Lennon song. Now, people always bring up how much they make. I don't care. It's just like the only time I'll cite something like that is just to show how when you have I don't get it. I think it's dumb. That's all I can say. Like I said, the way people act, you would think there were like I would only be understanding of them if you couldn't get pictures of naked chicks online for free. But you can. So I don't get it. True, but come on, everyone here in this chat is not going to support no chick on OnlyFans when you can go search up some photos for free. Yeah, I found a picture of one of my favorite actresses naked. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was fake when I first saw it, and then I went on. It was either Google. I have this other browser that, like Yahoo or whatever, and I found it was on the first page, and it was like two or three other ones. I really thought somebody photoshopped their head on this. Like, nope. I don't understand people at all. They act like the simplest stuff is just, oh yeah, to get a date, you should totally go to the gym for months every day, as one person said, and run 500 miles. Excuse me, do 500 push-ups every day and run 3 miles every week. That's totally normal. And become half a millionaire or a millionaire for some random broad. All that is definitely things that's the only way you can get a woman. Nobody's ever gotten a woman without, becoming shredded or having a bunch of money. That's never happened before. They really treat chicks like an endangered species. Like if there were only 7 or 8 broads in the world and people were like doing all this stuff to impress them, like turning themselves into Thor and Hercules, I would kind of understand it because it's in that scenario they'd be a very rare thing. But you would almost forget there are millions of chicks and people like treat them like they're some sacred item. It's so weird. That's crazy. To go on a date with Megumi, you have to have $1 million. That would be funny if there's some alternate universe where it's the reverse, where it's like men that are like highly sought after, and there's like 30 chicks trying to get with one guy. I remember I had this one person, they wrote a book about how there were only 4 men in California. Like all the other men disappeared, and it was just chicks trying to like do all kind of stuff to them. It was really funny. And it was a good example of how when someone, like a lot of people crap on men for like supposedly being obsessed with getting a relationship or whatever the word is. But it was a good example of how when people don't feel as if they have basic interest from the opposite sex, it can really drive them crazy. Because again, people, want relationships with other people, whether it's platonic or romantic. And the internet has done a really good job of demonizing normal behavior. Like, remember when it was just an accepted thing that if someone thought someone was attractive, they wanted to do sexual stuff with them? Not anymore. How dare you find this woman attractive and want to do something with her? You have to be virtuous. I think that's hilarious. Let's not forget majority of oh, I don't want to do that. I don't need them on my video crying again. I had one of their members call me out of my preferred pronouns, but then I'm supposed to respect their pronouns. They get to insult me, and then they get to dictate to me what my response to their insult should be. That's how fair that is. So I might not even read that. I'll read it without saying it. Yeah, I don't need them again. Like that's one of the things I really hate about this stuff where when it's wide ranging, certain people or things get mentioned and then somebody walks like, you said this about this person. Like I responded to something somebody else said. You act like you like this some big scandal. No, I'm not dealing with them again. They They attack you and play victim after attacking you because they're glass cannons. They'll say the most nasty stuff about you, but then you're supposed to be nice to them. Now, I still remember that video, or that stream rather. How could you talk about this person this way? They got to insult me left and right. I'm supposed to be nice. That's literally every time I insult somebody, they act like they didn't insult me first. Like with the guy 2 weeks ago. You treat people online like crap. Well, hell, look at the stuff they write to me. I already showed all the different screenshots in that video. Like you gonna die alone and you're a piece of trash and you don't deserve anything and all this. Like, go away. We're supposed to be nice, but you get to hurl verbal nukes at us. That's fair. So I said people just don't care. They'll say whatever they want. Yeah, I'm a sociopath, according to the woman that is still upset over getting insulted 2 years ago, and says that she used to watch me as she appears currently on my channel. That's normal behavior. I know this person apologized. See, don't ever apologize to somebody online because they will hold what you did against you forever. You insult somebody, then you apologize. 2 years later, they're bringing it up to insult you or to say that they're upset with you. So don't ever apologize. It's a waste of time. Because every time you do, they always hold it against you regardless. It's always just another thing to hang you with. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, a lot of people, I learned one thing on this website is that a lot of people will say they don't like somebody's content but then still show up. Nah, Megumi, if you what's the point of apologizing if they're still going to bring up what you did that supposedly offended them so? It's one thing if they say I don't accept your apology, but if they say they do and then they still bring it up, then it's, again, what did that accomplish? That's like somebody saying, make a sequel to this movie so that I can go and see it. And then you make a sequel and they don't watch it. So what did that accomplish? The same result. Now, people online act so just inconsistent and they say one thing, do the opposite. Yeah, they always do. Well, why are you being mean to me? It's not like I insulted you first. I don't ever do that. I can't believe this person was, because I'm just used to getting spoken in a disparaging. I have people I've never met saying nasty stuff about me on videos. Which again, they're allowed to, but when you respond back, how could you say this? They love doing that. Playing, they attack somebody and then they play victim after they feel the attack was too brutal. Like if I do a 10-minute video on someone, then they do a 2-3 hour stream on me. I'm supposed to go over and go, how could you make such a long video about me? I only talked about you for 10 minutes. No, the red herring is when you're talking to some broad that says you're too good for her and she can't wait for you to hear her voice when you speak to her in the VC for the first time. And then she vanishes after saying that she didn't think it would work out for many reasons, even though she spoke to you for weeks. And literally just 3 days ago before finally stumbling across all these reasons. I'm telling you, I'm never going to get over that. Yeah, they get what they gave. You insult someone and then we're supposed to act nice. Again, people want free speech, but they also want to control yours. They want to tell you what you can and can't say in response to them. No, that chick stuff is at its worst when you talk to some broad for a month or two and then she's like, I don't feel anything and I think we'd be better off as friends. So give them what they want, but then they don't have to give you what you want, but you're supposed to still speak to them. I'm serious. If I spoke to every broad that tried to friends on me, I'd have like 10 of those bastards on my phone. It's that because that's all they do. They try to give you some consolation prize. And then what ends up happening is, since people like talk about you're not likable if you don't have a girlfriend or whatever, if you'll notice in a lot of those screenshots I show you, they'll put LOL or ha 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 or something because you actually are the person who is entertaining to be around. They're just some bland, boring chick that is only cared about because of what's between their legs versus who they actually are and what specific things they can do. And I even said before that in a lot of cases, a man will only talk to a specific woman because they're out of options. Whereas if a woman is speaking to a man, because she has so many damn options, she'll either notice which one she likes the most, and it's more of a challenge for the man to appeal to the chick than it is the other way around. No, they will drive you crazy. Like I still think about that broad with that message because it's just people always they always perceive when you don't get with someone that you're just this piece of crap. That's one of the little things they like to do. So when you have proof that one of them will speak to you for weeks or months, and again gas you up, and then it doesn't go anywhere, it breaks a hole in their narrative because they want to believe so desperately that you have no redeeming qualities or that you screwed it up, even if the reverse is true by evidence of the screenshots and proof that you have. So men with women that they have no business being with, maybe it's real love or the disability check. I don't know. Again, I think it's desperation. Like with that guy that was paying for the storage unit, never saw him date anyone before that or since. That's been he's had a TV tropes has a term called single. It's like single target sexuality, where it's like about some character that only is interested in one person ever. They never show an attraction to anybody else, and that's effectively what that guy has with that broad. I've never seen him show interest in another woman or be with another one before that. So I concluded, he didn't believe if he tried to break it off with her, he'd ever get with anybody again. It's really sad. It's sad that I can't feel entirely empathetic towards him because he did put himself in that situation. But also because I don't see where this relationship produced anything that was good. They have a kid they can't afford. He lost a whole bunch of money. He went to jail at one point for a day or two or whatever. Like all it does, like a lot of these chicks just destroy the men they're with. But again, because they're pretty, they can get away with it. Let's see. Oh, and a good amount of people are scared to be alone. Yeah, they use that to get you to go into these one-sided relationships or situationships, as I call them sometimes. Because if you're alone and a monster attacks you, you're screwed. You don't have anybody to throw in its way as bait or a monster. A lot of the times, the chick is the monster. How many court cases can you think of where some guy couldn't see his kid because the woman he had the kid with made that to be the way that it was, or she took all his money after they divorced or something? Just the main antagonist was the person you were married to. They have a face heel turn where they turn into a villain. Like if I got married to some broad and then divorced her and then she took half my stuff, she would be my arch enemy. She got half of my wealth. That's more offensive than any bill has ever been. But those are types of chicks you're not supposed to get with. But what I am saying is if you are a man who receives little to no attention from the opposite sex, you are more susceptible to do certain things for the purpose of appealing to the one or two that might show interest in you at some point. That's why it's so devastating when you talk to one of them for weeks or months and then they say they're not interested because you just invested this time in this person. It seemed to be like a lot of people do that thing of like, oh, you think just because someone's nice to you, they like you, but I don't know what other reaction they're supposed to have to someone they apparently like. This is why I think it's stupid. If a woman doesn't like someone, wouldn't she be upset in speaking it? Wouldn't she not want to speak to them for months or weeks or whatever continuous amount of time passes? So really, your guess is as good as it's going to get. I'm just saying that you can say they know they're not supposed to get with them. I'm simply saying that when you get continuously passed over by chicks, it can make you desperate. Like no one I know who lost it to a pay girl for we can't use the words we want to use. Actually, did that because that was their first choice. So. I guess it's not really about people knowing certain stuff. They want to make sure that that certain needs and wants that they have are met, even if they have to do some extraneous thing or thing they don't want to do to have it. You're not supposed to get with. Tell that to them. Like all they did was waste my time. They stole like that broad made that guy lose all kind of money. It's really sad that people, they don't want to accept that there are a lot of drawbacks to getting with certain chicks. And again, that kind of stuff used to be okay when you could be confident that you would have multiple ones you would, I guess, at least have willing enough to go on a date. But at this point, when you only get apparently one in your entire lifetime or two, people think it's normal to just have all of these difficulties. And like you got to hope and pray that that one person is so amazing and great, which again is a really extraneous amount of belief to put on one person. Like I just go off the males in my family. No one ever met their partner that they stayed with for years, whether they got married or were just a long-term relationship the first time around. Like they always dated multiple people before that happened. Would you let this girl snatch half your will for the rest of your life? Absolutely not. That's why I said if the woman is rich herself or is as wealthy as these people want the man to be, then she would have no problem signing a prenuptial agreement. Because if she has more than you, that's going to hurt her more than you if it's like half and half. So have fun with that. I just think it's sad, man. They turn like relationships again are supposed to be enjoyable. You're supposed to actually like these chicks, and like they just seem like this big waste of time and headache, and um, they're like a catalyst for worse things. Because when you come online and you see the stuff people will write about you because you're not with someone or they think you're not with someone, it just goes to show what good are chicks if all they're going to do is reject you, waste your time, and be used to verbally assault you on the computer. I don't really understand what's appealing about them. Like if you want to, if somebody wants to get screwed, they can just go to Las Vegas, or they can stay wherever they are, but it's not legal over there usually. There are a lot of ways to alleviate yourself for these issues with these broads. Oh, it is twisted and backwards. But people think it's normal. They act like it's this is just a thing that occurs. Like like if you listen to some of the people on the computer, you're supposed to get rejected. Like this is what the ones that are like not as antagonistic say. You're supposed to get rejected over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then there's that one chick that comes along that finally, you know, it's not just another cruel joke for once. And then she falls in love with you and you live happily ever after. So you just have to keep on trying, just spin in the circle for years until one of them finally says yes. And she's going to be so amazingly beautiful and she won't cheat on you and she won't beg you for money. We know all these things about this person we've never seen. And then if you're the computer clown, you got to do 500 push-ups a day and run 100 miles a year, and you got to own a mansion and have a bunch of money, and yeah. And this woman will definitely like you for who you are, even though all these things I'm talking about are superficial crap. That if I were to ask a woman to have, you would instantly accuse me of being shallow as hell, but when a chick wants this stuff, she is absolved of that criticism, yeah. I'm saying it's like a cartoon. Okay, James says, yeah, but this is our experience with chicks. Other dudes are probably happy with being in relationships or like being in toxic relationships. Well, that's my point, that there are some that, and people have talked about this before, where like there are people who are in relationships that are miserable, and a solid chunk of those are men, because there are different things that chicks do to men that they're with that screw them over. And people who want to like talk down to you as someone they perceive to have never been with someone before and not be aware of this stuff, they try to tell you, oh, it's all amazing and magical once you get with the broad. It's just so terrific. They don't try to take all your money or accuse you of doing something to them or cheat on you. That never happens. Yeah, they're perfect. They don't try to get on your videos and use you for fame. Imagine trying to get 100,000 subs just to maybe get somebody to send you a message. Like, what is that? For example, that guy who is paying that chick's storage unit while she curses him out to no end. Cursed him out, cheated on him, and then had a kid they can't afford. That's a happy ending, huh? Perfect relationship. Like, people really think I made that up. Like, that is the longest lasting relationship between two people my age in real life I'm aware of. That I have personally seen the stages of. And just to clarify, he doesn't still pay for the storage unit. I'm saying that he paid for it for a year while getting cursed out and suspecting her of cheating on him. And like, Megumi, if you believe in, because we've had people try to like do the faith crap when I talk about, the thing with the pay girls or whatever. But if you believe in God, do you really think God wants you to talk to a bunch of chicks that don't even like you, that are going to take you for everything you have, that are going to cheat on you, that are going to beg you for money, that when they do screwed up things to you are not going to be blamed because of their gender? Is that really what you believe God is wants for you? Well, who usually more happy in these marriages? Because women enforce that 50-70% of divorces. Oh, Euro, I don't name names. But if that person does that, then, he fits the bill. Like, there was a guy who made a video about how he'd never had a girlfriend, and she was in every video. and I was citing that as how there's a guy who's in his 40s that was talking about how if he ever gets with another girlfriend or whatever, because he breaks up with them, he doesn't have any of them in his videos because he doesn't want to boost them up to become more famous off of like his hard work. And how it's not a coincidence. Like, I'm telling you, if I had a woman, she would not appear in my videos. Because I've seen it happen before where there's some chick nobody ever heard of, and then what does she do? She gets with some famous man or more famous man. and then she increases and then throws the guy in the trash. So again, I don't say people's names because I'm not trying to have issues with them. And again, like the optics, if that person is with someone, the optics of me using them as an example are not good. They're going to say he's just jealous. So I'm not directly addressing. Like I don't name names for that reason. It's better to use someone as a nameless example than to get the negative attention of like being accused of stuff. But yeah, if that person does that, that's another example. I really hope that woman doesn't is not does not have that ulterior motive. Every video used to just be me by myself. Now it's me and my sidekick. Very cautious person. Then again, you need to be as a content creator on here. Well, no, like this is how I look at it. If you do things right that people like and it makes you more popular, more well known, I don't see how it's fair for someone to come around and try to make themselves famous off of your hard work. Like if you notice with my brother, you don't know his name. You hear his voice when sometimes I do a stream and he's over here, but you don't hear his name. There's no link to his pages because you don't see his face because he's not trying to become famous off of being on the stream with me. Same thing with my best friend. Like it's totally different from what these other people do, where it's when it's a couple channel where it's a guy and some broad. See how you set your policy. I'm just saying, I don't think it's right for you to like have worked hard to get where you are, and then somebody else gets to just mooch off of what you've done. I don't think that's right. Again, that's just me. That would be really funny to like actually get with someone and then still make videos about like, yeah, man, it's so crazy. Because it's not going to change my opinion. Hell, when the gold digger thing happened the year, so James mentioned I started doing these in 2015. The gold digger thing happened months after I made the first video on this. And again, that just reinforced like me getting sick of them because for 4 years, people sat there and not 4, 5 rather. People sat there and just, oh yeah, when you get with someone, it's so amazing and great and terrific. And then you finally get with this person. They're nice to you for a whole month. They treat you like a decent individual, and then they start begging you for money after the relationship starts every day for a week. And I would not budge because I know that if I got with someone and then started begging them for money right after being nice to them for a month, never asked them for anything, I would be called out for that type of behavior. But when someone has the V, they get off scot-free. No, I just think chicks can be really dangerous. Like there's so, and like I don't mention the thing with them making money on these websites because that doesn't affect me, but I'm talking about when people use them as a way to attack you, when they waste your time for months pretending that they like you, or weeks, whatever amount of time that you think is extraneous. Um, that stuff can really hurt you psychologically because a lot of people have this idea in their head of the woman that they go up to and then she doesn't want to give her number to you and then you start over. But when you have someone who you feel like you've made a connection with or gotten to know for a continuous period of time still reject you, it's like, what more are you asking of me? There's this one panel from this comic where the main character is really frustrated, so he's like fighting some illusions. So he starts punching the illusions. He's like, "Why can't you let me live? Why can't you let me live?" That's what this chick stuff feels like. You're just in this maze box, and they won't let you live. You got to keep on doing all these different things for one of them to reciprocate ever. And then people on the computer who've never met you, they like to tell you what you can do and whatnot. Yeah, I really had a guy say, go to the gym every day. I'm like, who has the time to do that? Because he wrote this before COVID. So he expects someone who either works or goes to school to just like dedicate some big portion of their life to a chick they've never even met. Like if you said, pick up my brother from school every day or drive my best friend to his job, I might actually take him up on that because those are people I'm very invested in. But just for some random broad, go to the gym every day, really? But yeah, the wrong shoes. I'm gonna see if I can find that panel for the next stream where I won't be able to yell it because I won't be on alone probably, but just he's just punching the wall. Why won't you let me live? That's what the chick stuff is really like, because it's one thing to have broads keep saying no. It's another for them to spend weeks or months talking to some guy just to tell him no. Because it's a complete waste of time. And then you add in these men who are so desperate to never criticize women ever, just finding all these negative qualities in the man. And it really is like that. They won't let you live. Like, what is one good thing that comes out talking to chicks? After all the stuff we've mentioned here, what's one good thing? I'd like to see someone answer that. And don't do some, you have the knowledge now. No, as in, what is something you can take away from this and say, wow, that was such a worthy investment of my time. Like, think about it. You get rejected over and over again, even if you speak to one of them. No, you don't get that if you talk to them more likely than not. You're not screwing every broad you talk to, or most of them. Sorry, I don't believe that. But you get rejected over and over again. You get smeared online by people who've never met you. And then you're expected to do the same thing over and over again with no inference as to why it's supposedly going to be different this time. I'll need to make an early eggs. I'll watch the rest of the stream when it's done. Take care. All right, see you. This chick didn't want to go out with me because I didn't have, yeah. But she did hook up with a guy that didn't know how to put his pants on properly. Well, I told you about the broad that turned me down for a date. Like I mentioned before that she won't go on a date with someone she doesn't have feelings for, but she'll screw someone she doesn't have feelings for. Like she admitted to doing that with a guy that she didn't feel anything for, didn't care about. But I'm supposed to take her seriously as this person who needs to have her feelings honored and cares so much about who she's connected with. And then she tried to backpedal. Oh, well, I just don't really like dates. That's all. It's like, but you had a fiance. Like, what? I don't like dates, but I have a fiance. Yeah, because me and my fiance don't go on dates. You just sit at the house all day. All day, every day. That makes a lot of sense. So I said this chick stuff will really drive you insane. Just the like double standards they have. We talked about with I hate mentioning her name, but the one chick that said that she was like so disgusted that men on what's that website on Tinder asked her, do you like different sexual acts that she does, and then she made it sound like that was the reason she was turning them down. But then I don't ask her a single sexual question after months and months of speaking, I still get the same result. Which should tell you that it doesn't matter how you talk to them, as long as they don't find you to be pretty, they'll throw you in the trash. I don't know what these bastards want, because like if you look at the stuff they write about you before they turn you down, They make you sound like you're the best thing ever. Oh, you mean something to me, and we have a connection, and we're friends, and I just wanted to talk to you. All that trash. You treated me so well. You were so patient. I'm sorry for letting you down. And they'll still do it anyway. Hey, let's end this with a Spider-Man 2002 quote. And they found you amusing for a while, these chicks that called you their friend. But the one thing they love more than a friend is to see a friend fail, fall, die trying. In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother? All right, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll do a stream on Monday. I didn't mean for that to rhyme or to have any kind of poetry to it. So, see you.